Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So when you support the United Way, as you do, you're supporting organizations like the Rescue Mission. And to put that in perspective, what does that mean? Well, today we're going to serve up to 800 meals. So as we're gathering and having lunch today, there's about 250 people going through our line in our food service center. Men, women, and children that might otherwise go hungry. Tonight, we're going to see about 250 people in residence with us downtown in Syracuse. 180 of them will be in our shelter, and the remainder will be in our permanent supportive housing programs. If you add in the other cities of Auburn, Ithaca, and Binghamton, where we also operate rescue missions, that takes that number up to 450 people will be in a rescue mission bed tonight that might otherwise be out on the street if it wasn't for the rescue mission, if it wasn't for the work of the United Way. In total, if you think about the course of a year, we will serve over 303,000 meals to hungry men, women, and children. We'll provide over 127,000 overnight stays in emergency shelter and permanent supportive housing programs. The need is absolutely great. We deal with people that are addicted. We deal with people that are mentally ill. We deal with people that are unemployed or have broken relationships and have nobody else to turn to. They don't wake up in the morning saying, man, I wish I could go to the rescue mission. Something bad has happened in their life, and they have no one else to turn to, and they come to the rescue mission for help. And so when I start telling people about what we face on a daily basis and the individuals we serve and the brokenness of hearing about a woman in our shelter who is 7 months pregnant but is prostituting herself to support her heroin addiction. People ask, how do you guys do that? How do you maintain the optimism? How do you manage the brokenness that you see each and every day walking through your doors? And I have two answers for that. First is, we don't do it alone. It's not one of us that's down there working, serving all those meals or providing all those overnight stays or providing case management services for individuals. We have 350 staff working in retail stores, warehouse, programs, administration, that are all there to try to make a difference in the life of one individual. We have 4,500 volunteers that contribute over 108,000 hours of volunteerism each and every year. And then we have 15,000 donors that support the rescue mission because, like you, they believe nobody should ever go hungry in our community. Nobody should not know where they can lay their head at night, and nobody should not have hope. Which leads me to my second answer. We have hope. Despite the challenging circumstances that we face each and every day, we have hope that lives can change. Hope that you don't have to be defined by the fact that you're homeless or unemployed or mentally ill or struggling with a relationship issue or a physical health issue. Those things don't have to define who you are, and most importantly, they don't have to define who you can become. And so the rescue mission is a place of hope for over 11,000 people that walk through their doors each and every year. We're a place of hope where we can say and sit with you and hear your story, come alongside of you, develop a plan, make sure that you have basic needs such as food and clothing and shelter. But then we can go to work on developing a plan to get you out of shelter, get you off the street, help find employment, access those critical healthcare services that you need, be able to enter recovery, find employment, and ultimately find housing. And last year, with your help, the rescue mission helped 750 men, women, and children move out of shelters and move into a place of their own, permanent housing. Tonight, they're going to a place to call home, just like you and I are. So even though we face challenging circumstances, have hope, because we are making a difference together, because we're not in this alone. We stand for the men, women, and children that need help. They need a hand up. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to care. When people ask me, what's the number one thing you need? They're expecting me always to say money. And we certainly need money to be able to keep the lights on and employ people. But the number one thing we need is people that care about people. You give me a whole bunch of those, and we can end homelessness in this community. We can make sure that nobody is hungry in this community. Every year, we have this event. It's our annual gala. It's called the Hope Awards. If you are interested, if you ever want to see what your investment does in the lives of men, women, and children, mark this on your calendar. November 17th, the Syracuse Marriott, right downtown, the former Hotel Syracuse. Come join us for a night of hope. Because at that event, we award 40 to 50 awards to men, women, and children that have come through our programs, that have overcome amazing obstacles and adversity in their life to be able to move forward and achieve positive change. And these are individuals that they haven't necessarily had that opportunity to walk across the stage and get that diploma. They haven't had that opportunity for people to affirm their efforts. And so we come together and we throw a big party for them. And it is so much fun. And you hear all these testimonies and you hear the gratitude from the men and women that are sharing their story about how people changed their lives because someone cared. One woman got up there, a young woman, and she said, she starts yelling out all these different names of individuals that were in the room. Gary, Matt, Nicole, I want to thank them all because they showed me love when I didn't know what love was. And her life changed because of that. People showed her hope, what her life could be. And we have that. One of my favorite memories from that I will always hold on to is a reminder of that hope. So my job, just to give you context, is to be up on the stage, and I'm dressed up, to represent the importance of the night. And people call out the names of the award recipients. They come up the stairs, I give them the award, we stand, we get a picture, and then I guide them over the mic if they want to share something, they do. And so I'm going through and I'm listening, and someone calls out the name Glenn. And I turn and I see this guy coming up the stairs, and I shake his hand. And he grabs my hand and he whispers to me, he's like, "Do you recognize me?" And at first I was like kind of baffled, like, what? And he says to me, "You came and spoke to me when I was standing on a street corner holding a sign. And I looked a lot different then." And I'll be completely honest with you, I did not remember him. And afterwards, we did the picture thing, and I went down and I reconnected with him and I congratulated him, and I got a little bit more of his story. And later, I'm racking my brain, when did I do that? And I try to make it a habit that whenever I'm out in the community, if I pull up and I see a guy on the corner, I'll roll the window down, I'll talk to him. If I'm walking downtown, I'll walk over, and just to make a human contact, just to let them know that somebody cares, and just tell them about the mission, tell them about meals and getting food and being able to have a place to stay. Well, I was going back through some old blogs, and I found one that I had written 11 months prior about my encounter with a guy named Glenn on the corner of Fayette and West. And I was walking to lunch, and I see him, and I walk over to him, and I just strike up a conversation. Nicest guy in the world. But I find out, he's got heroin addiction. It's pretty obvious he's probably struggling with a mental illness. I talked to him about coming to the mission, but he's not sure because he really doesn't want to come into a large dorm. He's kind of feeling a little weird about that. He's living in an abandoned garage 2 blocks away. And this is entering winter. And so, I encouraged him. I said, "Well, we're here for you. Come get a meal if you need it." And I walked away. And I walked away incredibly discouraged because I'm thinking, what's the solution for guys like Glenn? How do we get someone like Glenn off the street? And here he is standing beside me on the stage all of a sudden. Never saw him again through those 11 months. Well, I found out afterwards from talking to him that our outreach team that's out on the street 6-7 days a week connected with Glenn, started talking to Glenn, started to understand his story, started to build trust and rapport with him. Glenn felt comfortable enough to start coming down for meals, the meals that the United Way supports us giving every day. And then before long, our outreach worker, collaborating with Catholic Charities, was literally able to get Glenn off the street corner and into an apartment that he could afford, where once he was there, he was able to stabilize and start addressing his mental health issues and his addiction issues. And the reason that he was receiving that Hope Award that night was because he was no longer homeless, he was now in recovery, and he had hope for his future. That's what you all do. That is what the United Way does. And so I encourage you, I know it's tough to ask for money. And I know that it is difficult, if it's something you're not accustomed to doing. But it matters. It makes a difference in the life of every individual that the United Way touches through its programs. And I encourage you, speak on their behalf. When you're asking someone to give that $2 a meal, that $2 a week that will provide a meal for someone, just tell them, because it's for my friend Glenn. I need to make sure he's got a meal this week, right? If all of you and your teams were to go out and all you do is personally ask, just a simple ask, "Hey, I'm doing the United Way pledge. would you please do it this year just for $2 a week? That 15% grows to 20%, right? That $220,000 raise, that gets to $250,000, $275,000, $300,000. But it's not just ever about the money. It is always about the lives of the men, women, and children that receive the services that, if not for us, they go hungry. They're out on the street. They go without hope. And our community is too great. It is too great to not have hope for all. So I just want to thank you for your efforts. I want to encourage you to keep going, make this campaign the greatest ever, and know that you are helping make life change happen in people like Glenn. Thank you.